So my name is Anna Roberts. I currently manage and own 2 real estate companies. The company is called Just Property. We have a branch, it's part of a national network of franchises. I own the branch in Umhlanga and in Upper Highway. Started off in Upper Highway and then bought Umhlanga quite recently. I've had it for about 6 or 8 months. The business focus is rentals and sales of properties. We do sales in quite an innovative way in the sense that we do show houses differently, we do our marketing very differently from the traditional real estate organizations. And I think that's because I don't have a background in real estate. And on the rental side, we offer 2 services to clients. One is where we procure a tenant and the landlord manages the property, him or herself. And the second part is where we procure the tenant and then we manage the property in full for the landlord. So everything that from maintenance to rental payments to everything to do with managing a property as though we were the landlord. And that's a massive part of the business. So my background, I was born in Mozambique, moved to South Africa when I was 8. That's when I learned to speak English for the first time, so it was quite a challenge. Consider myself a Durbanite because I did grow up in Durban the majority of my life, certainly since I was 8. Went to the University of KwaZulu-Natal, did a degree. I thought I was going to become an accountant, but discovered that people and innovation and marketing is a whole lot more fun. So majored in industrial psychology and marketing, and then landed up in the world of human resources. Worked in 2 corporates for the majority of my life, 27 of them in one company. But within that company, I probably changed roles every 3 or 4 years. Incredible growth opportunities, loads of learning and development, and landed up being the HR director of that company. It is a JSE-listed organization. So a very corporate, very fast-paced world, but a world that taught me a huge amount. And then at the age of 54, I decided it was time to get out of corporate, get some balance into my life, although I don't really know what that means, but that was the objective. And I bought into Just Property Upper Highway. Started in January 2020, right before lockdown. I had 0 experience in real estate, nothing, other than having bought 2 houses in my life. So very, very steep learning curve. COVID, and it sounds terrible, but lockdown was the best thing that could have happened to me. Spent 40 to 50 hours a week, kind of swatting, doing webinars, doing all sorts of training. And after 2.5 months, had some level of theory, at least, in real estate. And from there, the business kind of grew. Started recruiting a team, training the team. Nobody in my team had real estate experience, so we were all starting from 0. And within 2 years, so by 2022, I'd qualified as a principal. That's something that normally takes people 5 to 9 years. So it gives you a little bit of an indication of the pace at which I operate. I don't have a pause button, so we just go really fast all the time. So real estate requires you to have qualifications. First qualification is as an agent. The second qualification, if you want to run a business, is as a principal. There's exams and all sorts that you've got to go through. I did that in 2 years, so I was a fully qualified principal by 2022. And it's something that normally takes people 5 to 9 years to get to. So I do tend to work at quite a pace. I don't really have a pause button. And that's my life from kind of birth to now. So my biggest dream, there were really 2 things. One is to be completely self-sufficient. I never wanted to rely on anybody. Although I have an incredible husband, I always wanted to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and to achieve for myself, both financially as well as from a goals perspective. Second part of my dream was to ensure that my kids always looked up to me and that I'd be a role model. So kind of doing the right things to get the right results, and that, they'd be proud one day. So the corporate world that I operated in was extremely fast-paced, amazing learnings, great opportunities. I always got involved in more areas that I needed to. So even though I was in HR, I got involved in finance and in marketing and in all sorts. And a whole lot of things, for want of a better word, aligned in my life in 2019. And I believe there were indicators that it was time to quit the corporate world and to do something completely different. So I kind of tried to think of, I didn't want to go into consulting and I thought, hey, time to change, and if you're going to learn something new, probably a good time to learn, although I don't know if it isn't a bit crazy in your 50s, but it is what it is. And that's how I landed up in real estate. I felt that there were synergies between what my knowledge was from people and marketing perspective, and I figured I could learn the real estate side and the legal side fairly easily, hence my move to Just Property. I've always had mentors, not necessarily in the formal sense of a mentor appointed by an organisation with traditional relationships and traditional formats of mentorship, but I've had leaders who have inspired me, one in particular that I reported to for 8 years, who is probably the most incredible leader that I could ever wish for, and he showed me that anything was possible. So that inspired me hugely, and together with the fact that I wanted my kids to be proud of what I was doing. So those were my two biggest drivers. And my view is, if you start something, you end it, and you end it well, and you give it your all. And when you get out of bed in the morning, you either going to go do something well and be exceptional, or you stay in bed. So those were my key drivers and inspirations. So I think the impact that I have made on the business and the business environment in which we operate is by running a business based on 3 values. And those 3 values are more important than anything, more important than the results that we achieve. The values are integrity, innovation, and excellence. So first of all, do the right thing, always. And don't ever be tempted to do a deal that will bring you money but will cause you to compromise on your own values and on what's right. Innovation is growing things, changing things every day. So kind of relooking and saying, how can we be 1% better than we were yesterday? And even if we don't do that every week, even if we do that even if we don't do that every day, and we do that every week, when we look back at the end of the year, at the end of 52 weeks, we go, oh my goodness, we've come a long way. So that kind of 1% innovation, that 1% doing things differently every day is massive. And the third is excellence, which I think speaks for itself, but it is really about being brilliant at everything that you do and giving it your best shot. If you aim to come second, then we're not aiming for excellence. And I think those 3 values put together have formed the foundation of the business in which we operate. The results have come from that rather than from driving the bottom line, and have impacted on the growth of the people, because as the team has grown and as people have joined us, by focusing on those values, they've been able to grow and achieve their goals and achieve amazing results in themselves. I found the question particularly hard. I think my impact and the achievements have been in seeing people achieve amazing things in their lives. Somebody joining my business and becoming the Rookie of the Year, in other words, the best real estate agent in the country in his first year of employment, and that was after he'd been in shipping for 47 years. We have won as a business loads of awards. The best marketing in the group. One of my agents won the best social marketing agent of the year, the rookie I've spoken about. And I think that those for me have been the achievements. And having two incredible kids who've achieved a huge amount in their own lives, and have, kind of shown me that, so it's not just about achieving in the business world, it has been about achieving at home. And having that balance, and actually a husband who quite loves me and is super supportive of what I do. And I think that finding that balance between achieving results in the workplace and having a family that still likes to see you at the end of the day, for me, are the achievements. I think my biggest challenge is myself. I am ridiculously driven. I used to tell my son, who is a phenomenal swimmer, I used to tell him that second place is first loser, until somebody told me that you cannot tell your children that, because that's like a really bad thing for a mom to say. So, but I really believe that if you're going to go out, you're going to go out to win. So that's probably been my biggest challenge, is the not balancing my own life. For me, business challenges, work challenges, anything in the workplace is, for me, an opportunity rather than a challenge. I don't see challenges in business. I don't see challenges in life. Where everybody else is complaining, I'm seeing opportunities. I think the challenge has been balancing myself and pausing myself and saying, hey, you actually, are a human being and it's okay. I think for young women who want to achieve results, it's about deciding on what you want, number one, being focused on that. Work ethic is a given. So once you've decided on what you want, go for it, believing in yourself and putting in the hours and the effort that you need to put in to get to where you want to get to. And never, ever give up on your values. So stick to your values. It's very easy in a corporate world, particularly, to get roped into all sorts of things that you wouldn't typically get pulled into. So believe in your values, set your goals, and go for it. My future goals are to have a manager in each of the branches that I now run that can run the branches completely independently, so that I can actually start achieving or coping with what's been my biggest challenge, and that being balance. So the goal is really establish a better management structure within my own business so that I can actually have a life. I do have a life. I've got an amazing life, but getting that balance, overcoming that challenge. So I found balance in my life by, I have learned to read my own stress points, and I know when I have to switch off. And I find balance through spending time with my family. That's always been critical, and has always helped me rebalance and refocus, whether it be attending a sport event or whatever it may be. We eat out lots, which tends to be fun. Reading is a massive part of my life. I love reading and to just switch off, and it might be reading a business book or just a nonsense switch off the brain book. And I used to do photography quite a lot. My camera's been in the cupboard for a while, but it does need to come out. So those are the things that I do to relax.